Where is God when your world is falling apart? Do you feel like He's not listening or doesn't care about your situation or circumstance? In CBN's newest book, Rise Up, Stories of Remarkable Faith and Relentless Courage, you'll read about ordinary people whose circumstances caused them to fall into God's hands and who were given the faith and courage to rise above their trials. Well, joining me to talk more about this is one of the editors of the book, CBN Senior International Correspondent George Thomas. George, thanks for being with us.
Welcome. Thank you, Gary.
What was the inspiration behind this book?
Well, you know, Gary, you and I have the enormous privilege to travel around this beautiful country, around the world. Not just you, but so many of us here at CBN, whether it's in the news department or the 700 Club or features. We travel literally to the four corners of this world. And we're scouring the earth for inspiring stories, stories of ordinary people who face incredible situation, life-changing, life-altering circumstances, yet in the moment of crisis, they have this moment, they say, am I going to completely give up on life? Do I take my life? Do I go into a drug overdose? Do I drink myself to death? Do I shoot myself? But then they have this moment, this epiphany moment. In those epiphany moments, it's God revealing himself to an individual and saying, listen, hold on.
Who are some of the people you're referring to?
I mean, we go around the world. We've got the story of Majid al-Shafi, this Egyptian young man who was persecuted for his faith. He came from a Muslim background. You know of his story.
Yes.
In Egypt, originally from Egypt, ended up languishing in an Egyptian cell because of his faith, and through a dramatic set of circumstances was able to escape from the prison. We've got the story of Cody Huff, a gentleman from the streets of Las Vegas who, found himself out on the streets of Las Vegas, eating out of garbage cans, was completely hopeless, found himself going down the road of drugs and alcohol. And in the process, he went to church. And this young lady decided he was dirty, he was smelly, hadn't taken a bath in such a long time. And this lady who had compassion walked up to him, Gary, and said, Cody, you need a hug. And he was so taken aback by this and said, no, I'm dirty, I'm smelly, I haven't eaten, I haven't taken a bath. She says, no, that's okay. I'm going to hug you. And that hug changed his life.
Wow. One hug.
One hug. And we have the story of Rifqa Bary, who many years ago here in the United States was originally from Pakistan, had an encounter with Jesus Christ. She was from a Muslim background, and she was here in the United States, and she decided to give her life to Jesus Christ. And in the process, she was ostracized. You know, you hear these stories of persecution in other parts of the world, but here in the United States, in Florida, a father and mother decide to disown their beautiful daughter. Why? Because she decided to abandon Islam and to accept Jesus Christ. And she faced tremendous persecution. We have her story. We have a story of a well-known Dallas district attorney who seemed to have the perfect life. She had the perfect life, perfect career, perfect house. Everything was going well until one day she has this dramatic fall, hits her head on the pavement, and she's in a coma for several weeks. She paralyzed. There was no hope. But the church came around. Her friends came around, prayed for her. And today she is well, completely healed.
And was there ever a time when you saw God work in the middle of an overwhelming crisis in your own life?
Yeah, how much time do we have on this show? How much time can you give me, Gary?
Yeah,
you know, it's countless. I cannot count on my fingers.
Well, give us one.
No, I've faced down the barrel of an AK-47 put to my temple. About a year ago, I was in South Sudan, surrounded by SPLA soldiers, one of whom who had just massacred, murdered 2 individuals, innocent farmers. We witnessed it, and they realized that there was a journalist in their midst who had documented it, came and surrounded about 70, 75 SPLA soldiers with another missionary couple out in the middle of nowhere. And, you know, we're a liability. And in the process, I called back to CBN, called our boss, asked for prayer, called my family, asked for prayer, whether it's in Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, Somalia. I mean, there have been numerous occasions where You know, I would not be sitting at this table, and I'm sure, Gary, you can testify to this.
Certainly.
I would not be sitting at this table if it had not been for the prayers of my colleagues, my family, friends around the world who have interceded at different critical moments, traveling overseas and facing the enemy in different situations and circumstances. I know for a certain that prayer was a key in that, and it helped to provide the way out in a situation.
So what inspired you, George, to be a part of this project?
Well, it's just exciting because, you know, we get to every day we tell these amazing stories from around the world. And we thought, what a better way to put this in a book form so that people can be constantly reminded, okay, sure, you can go to your app, you can watch the stories, incredible testimonies from the 700 Club, from CBN News, from interactive features and so forth. But we thought, you know, what a great way, almost as a coffee table reminder. You know, here's this book, stories of faith in the midst of tremendous trial and tribulation. I hope that when you read this, you will find inspiration. You will see in the pages of these ordinary men and women who exercised courage in the face of death sometimes, who exercised faith. When they had no faith, they took a mustard seed and said, Christ, Lord Jesus, would you take my faith, which seems so insignificant. It does not seem completely sold out, yet I have a little mustard grain of faith. Will you take it and do what you can? And so that's what I hope. I hope that people will see that through the eyes and through the testimony of these incredible men and women, that whatever circumstance you face today in life, that you would give Jesus a chance, and you would put him to the test and watch him show up.
And I've had so many people say, well, I have to clean up my act
That's
first.
right. No, you don't.
And you know what I say to them? The only Mr. Clean is Jesus.
That's
He's
right.
the only
Exactly.
one who can clean you up enough.
That's right.
Because you can never do enough.
And it's like that famous song that Billy Graham would close his crusades around the world, the song, Just As I